know, my biggest anxiety is more so on whether these athletes are in the right headspace. What are we at? Let's get 2 24-inch boxes on the ladder. My goal as a coach is just to have them focus on the event. It's not to be focused on anything else. They shouldn't be worrying about this. They shouldn't be worrying about that. You know, they have their area set up the way they want it to be. They come in and they do the workout, right? So everything else, me, Coach Dom, that's what we focus on. That's what we like to cover. I absolutely hate this. And I'm also terrified of heights, so that's the part that freaks me out the most.
Mal O'Brien, individual, event 4 of quarterfinals.
Individual quarterfinals, they're the second stage of the CrossFit Games season, and really it's where the competitive aspect gets dialed up to the fullest. It's still done in your gym, inside the walls where you train on a daily basis, but the stakes are much higher because really what it does is cuts down a majority of the field and earns you an opportunity to finally compete live in person at a competition.
We're down here in beautiful Naples, Florida. It's like we couldn't ask for a better thing. And you know, we're starting the quarterfinals right now.
This is day 1 of quarters and we've done nothing yet. And it's late afternoon and I think we're all a little antsy to get after it now because we usually train in the morning.
You know, here in Naples we have Dallin, James, Emma, Phil. Actually, I started working with Phil Toon about 1.5 years ago. And then I started working with Saghafi less than 1 year ago now, coming right off the CrossFit Games. Guys, we're gonna go over the basics of these workouts. What we do at Brute Strength is a little bit different than what other camps may do. And the main separator is we program for an athlete specifically for them. Whatever you do before that is up to you, because that's gonna be like 75–80%. What Dallin does is different than what James does, it's different than what Emma does, it's different than what Phil does.
My goal is to simply be within 20 pounds of each lift on Dallin because he's very strong, and then beat him in the rest because I believe in myself. And he's a blonde. Blondes don't do it better.
Are you going for a 315 bench?
I would love to hit above 305.
Damn.
Well, dude,
I'm for 300.
Big titty city, brother.
CrossFit competition runs in the family for James Sprague. His dad, Pat Sprague, was a 3-time Games competitor in the Masters division.
Patrick Sprague, the veteran himself, will finish second. And look at James Sprague. That's a proud son screaming at the finish line.
And now he's working under the tutelage of Matt Torres, and there is a ton of potential.
Being head-to-head with the guys here and just the athletes here in Naples has been really humbling, but also allowed me to grow at a rate that I never thought would happen. It's been exponential growth.
With you, with someone new, he could be friends with anyone. Even his toughest competitors, he's like best buddies with, and he'll give him a high five, he'll give him, you know, a good job. Thank you for beating me in that workout, that made me so much better. He's just like a ray of sunshine.
So I have this thing where I need to, like, before I start anything, I need to sit down, I need to write everything that I'm gonna do for warm-up. Do you guys like my handwriting?
It's actually pretty, it is actually.
I'm doing this for the crew right here.
Saghafi made it to the CrossFit Games in 2019, and for the last year, she's been working with Matt Torres to make sure that she is absolutely prepared to make a run at Madison in 2022.
Everyone here is just so passionate and excited. It almost makes me feel like it's my first time, you know, stepping into like a rookie season or stepping into the gym where the excitement and the energy is just like 10 out of 10 every time.
So I competed as a teenager 3 times at the CrossFit Games. I was able to win all 3 of those years.
And then Pepper comes in to take it at about 5'10", followed by...
Dallin Pepper is the most decorated teenage athlete that we have seen in the sport. 3-time teenager champion, and last year just missed qualifying for the CrossFit Games as an individual. Top 5 go from the West Coast Classic. He finished 6th, but now training in Naples should give him that extra push that he needs to finally break through at the CrossFit Games as an individual.
Up.
And this atmosphere is awesome. Like, I moved here specifically to train under Matt, and it's just a plus that all these other guys are down here.
Come on, stay tight with me, let's go!
What you see is what you get. Not going to see much out of him, but he's just got this look in his eye that he's a killer. He's going to come for you, and he doesn't have fear, and he wants to work.
Phil Toon is a guy that comes into the sport with a powerlifting background, and overall he's still relatively new in the competitive CrossFit space. Joining the crew in Naples this year has actually really paid off for him, and he made an early statement this season by finishing 5th overall in the Open.
Phil Toon, quarterfinals, test number 1.
Who Phil is in training is the same Phil that you have on the competition floor. Like a bomb will go off at 3, 2, 1, go, and it's just like a ball of fire. And there's nothing that's gonna stop him.
Coming from working out by myself for the most part, and then coming to this, it just adds like that little extra push you need, whether it's just, we're all doing our different pieces, our sessions, but just being in the same gym, sharing the same energy, I think it just pushes us harder. And then of course, when we get thrown in the ring and we're doing the same pieces, it's just like doing the Open, you just go at each other, and you just push harder. It's great.
The Brute Strength crew weren't the only athletes that came together to take on quarterfinals.
And it's so funny, I wrote a workout when the floor plans came out. I gave a prep workout with lunges and the push-ups and double unders.
Yeah.
And Pat said to me, there's not gonna be lunges in that workout. It's not in the floor plan. I'm like, I put them in there because I put them front rack. I'm like, I put them in there so that it's like the combination of movement. That's what I wanted to do. And they said the lunges out, and I was like, oh, I just love being so right now.
Pat Vellner, Ellie Turner, and Freya Moosbrugger all traveled to Langley, British Columbia to take on the quarterfinals.
One of the reasons why we wanted to be all together is that we had this unique opportunity of Ellie being in Canada. Patrick is a male athlete competing in North America, Freya's female competing in North America, and then Ellie is female competing in Oceania, so there was no conflict. Like, it was very supportive and very streamlined. So.
Do we know anything about them yet? Like, do we know movement standards though?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
so we don't know anything.
Well, we can talk about strength.
They change the burpee standard every year. We don't know anything.
No, hold on. This one, I don't want you to get, I don't want you to,
Say it in French. I got you. I'm here.
Il est pas si important que ça. C'est le bench comme le press au total. Like, it's not that important.
Yeah, the bench isn't that important.
When it comes to how to decide how to do things or share information or agreements or disagreements about programming and direction, we fight a lot.
I think it's different. It's different than the normal total in the sense that I think the normal total is significantly skewed.
We generally disagree a lot, and I kind of like that because I get a perspective that's very different from my own most of the time.
With dumbbells, suitcase carry.
Will my hands touch the ground? With a dumbbell hanging?
Oh, wow.
With a 50, if it's a big enough dumbbell, it would. With 50s, I might be fine, but I have to make sure I don't tilt it a bunch.
Pat, you're always complaining about your arms.
I know, they're useless.
If it's not his arms, it's his age.
I'll find anything to complain about.
Not that it provides much of an advantage, but the quarterfinal workouts were leaked early on day 1, and word spread quickly.
It's kind of funny because I was up getting organized to leave, and then when I was on the ferry, I can't tell you how many people were like, hey, did you see the workouts? I said, yeah. Oh, did you know the workouts got released? Yeah. I've literally heard nothing else since the moment I opened my eyes this morning.
I'm feeling good, so I'm looking to PR all of them today. Now would be the time.
Freya Moosbrugger is part of a contingent of Canadian women that I think can really be a part of the next generation to carry the torch forward for that country.
She's the full package as a competitor. She's got all kinds of skills from her background, but she's still she's a bubbly 20-year-old girl, right? And Ellie as well. It's so funny to spend time with them because I'm a decade older than them.
Well, my last name's Moosbrugger, so cool as a moose. Like to think I'm cool.
I can be very serious at times and very especially when I'm about to compete, I'm a very anxious person, and whereas Freya's a little bit more upbeat, lighthearted.
Ellie, I've never seen you like this.
All we've been doing is eating rice cakes and watching Twilight.
I am definitely Team Edward all the way. I know Ellie's Team Jacob, but I mean, it's good. We can have either one.
Ellie has emotions, and there are so many emotions. They're not specific to Ellie, right? Like, I definitely see myself in Ellie. I see myself in Pat as well. I see myself in Freya at different degrees. All the athletes that I've worked with have gone through situations that I know what that feeling is.
Pat Vellner is a perennial podium contender simply because he's a gamer. He has a lot of the skills required to compete at the highest level, but something about him in competition at the games, he's able to look around, survey the field in front of him, and dial it up to an extra gear to get himself event wins and keep himself in the fight.
I've had that happen in my gym before where if you're swinging down and it kind of wraps around your shoulder or your neck a little bit. So I was kind of just really hoping that didn't happen with a few reps left. So, I mean, it fell a bit at the end when I was done. So, I mean, worst case, I end up dangling by my neck, but I'm done the workout. But there's people who will go faster. It's just the reality. I kind of always finish a workout thinking like that. It went well for me, but there's always superstars out there and specialists and people who are just that much faster. So it keeps you hungry.
There's going to be, and I don't say this in a sense of the sport of CrossFit. When I say you're young, you are young. You're 17 years old, right? When you turn 27, I'm going to be like, you're still a baby. You know what I mean? When you turn 40, someone that's 60s will be like, are you kidding me? Like, you're still a child, right? There's going to be much worse feelings than what you have right now. When you're like, this is the worst feeling I've ever felt in my life. No, it won't be. Today it feels like that, but I can guarantee you it won't be.
Cary had an incredible rookie year. Her first year competing as an individual, second in the World Wide Open, fourth in the North American quarterfinals. Then she goes to the games and finishes 16th as a 17-year-old. Unfortunately, December of 2021, 8,000 miles away from where she wanted to wind up in Madison, Cary found out that her season was coming to an end.
The injury in Dubai happened on sandbag cleans, really just a fluke thing. I have no idea still why it happened. I think it was on rep 12 out of like 60 in that workout, and I knew something was really, really wrong. Matt didn't get to be in Dubai with me, so I called him. I guess I think Matt can kind of fix everything, so I thought he was just gonna have this perfect plan of how my competition could continue. And he just said, I think you need to withdraw. And I was shocked, like never had even considered that as an option.
The mindset of an elite athlete means you're consistently pushing forward and pushing through uncomfortable scenarios. So when you're doing that day in and day out in the gym, it's almost counterintuitive sometimes to finally know when to turn that off.
I thought that was the hardest decision I had ever made, and it was until I got to this one, which was a whole lot harder.
So, off of what happened in Dubai when she sustained a back injury, we still had the goal in sight of making it back to the CrossFit Games in 2022. And ultimately, it takes a lot of trust in her to hear from me that the best choice for her health is this. She's gonna be one of the greatest athletes to ever do this. And the choice that we made to forego this season is gonna allow her to do that. And for any athlete out there, especially a younger athlete, you have to be so in tune with your body. You cannot think that today is the most important day. If you are serious about this sport, you have to be able to look into the future and say, the choice that I make today, is it gonna help me or is it gonna hurt me? And for her, we knew that it's gonna help her if we decided to withdraw from the 2022 season.
My best way to help her, however I can, is to talk to her in a way where I empathize with that, and to give her my best advice when it comes to having her understand the longevity she has in this sport. And for me, I'm 27. I could see myself competing for another 5 years, and she could be in this sport for another 15. And having those conversations with her to her understand the big picture, that winning the CrossFit Games isn't something that needs to happen right now.
When I was injured playing football and I was like, this is terrible. I can remember a moment specifically last year or 3 years ago where I was like, this is absolutely the worst fucking thing ever. And it lasted what it felt for like 5 months, you know? So it's just all part of the learning process. It's all part of the growing pains.
So Matt was like ultimately the one who encouraged me not to continue with quarterfinals, but Phil was kind of the reason that I was okay with that.
I really messed up my back in the 2020 Open. Shortly after I did a little powerlifting stint, and I've had to get 2 epidural injections in my L5-S1. So I've been down that road. So I try to share a lot of insight with her, like, if you do it right, you'll be fine. Just think about, you know, being in this sport for a while.
I kind of feel like Phil's little sister. He's had a back injury before, and he's been so helpful to me in dealing with mine. He has answered all my questions, like how do I know when to push? And it's been a hard few months, like the whole time, just flare-ups and like it's a little better, flare-ups, it's a little better. And Phil has he's experienced that too. He's been where I've been, and he's able to connect with me really like nobody else can in that way.
When I was going through my injuries and stuff like that, it really didn't matter what anybody said because I was gonna do what I wanted to do. It's very, very hard with somebody like her, with somebody like Dallin, James, that they already have so much going for them that they wanna just go, go, go. But it is also important to remember like their age and how long they could be doing this.
Everybody is struggling with something right now, and like we have all had really hard times in our lives, and like maybe you're not a professional athlete dealing with an injury, but like you are dealing with something that creates doubt in your life. And I want to show people that it's okay to have those doubts, and it's okay to prove them wrong. Like it's okay to dream really big, even though like yes, you still have doubts. You have to deal with those doubts, and you have to believe in yourself and in your potential, and just like you have to fully know you can do something, and like you have to know that so much that adversity can't stop you. And it's okay to have hard moments, it's okay to cry, it's okay to need to lean on the people around you, but it's also okay and it's necessary to get back up and to fight for what you want. Adversity humbles you like that, but adversity makes that belief in yourself so much stronger.
Terrible. Heights this way. Absolutely dreadful. Sweaty palms, my knees lock up. Feels like someone's pushing me over. You know what the trick is? I just don't look down. My goal with these teenagers is to make them so good that they can retire and choose to do it because they want to do the other things. So anytime I make a decision about what is best for these athletes now, it's what is best for the longevity.
Matt is the best coach ever. Hands down, 100%. He cares about me as an athlete, he cares about me as a person, and he guides me through everything. Like everything I go through, whether it's inside the gym or outside the gym, he helps me just be a better person and helps me see the big picture whenever like I just want this so much right now. Matt helps me be more mature and just be able to take steps back when I need to be and to take huge steps forward later. And like Matt makes it so easy to trust him completely and trust his programming, trust his process, and trust that he will always make the right decision for me.
We've all been with Brute since we were teenagers. Like I've been with Matt for over 4 years now. James has been with him for a while, as well as Emma.
Matt just isn't a coach for CrossFit. He's a lifestyle coach. He helps me be a better man, take things less serious when I need to, take things more serious when I need to, and just find good balance in life.
Matt he's so different than what I was used to.
From one movement to another, where you're like, well, fuck, this is what I gotta do now, right?
Matt is very strategic. He's very specific in what he wants to program, and he knows, he's gotten so well in knowing me as an athlete. Like, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses? And he's very much a guy with a plan.
Honestly, it's like any baking competition or food competition show, like I'm on it. I like watching people compete, and I love watching people cook and bake. So, I mean, come on. They're gonna row 30 calories, do 20 burpee box jump overs, and do 10 snatches, and that'll be it. I don't think they realize it's like one of those workouts that you know it's gonna hurt. Like, you have to do it. There's no way around it. You're gonna have to like literally just walk into the fire kind of thing.
The goal right from the start was to make the CrossFit Games. I watched the first ever documentary and I hadn't done any CrossFit before then. And I said to my family, I want to do this, I want to be the best, I want to win the CrossFit Games.
I've been in Canada for about 3 months now. The Touring Pro is very stacked, but it's going to make me such a better athlete. Competing alongside the likes of, Tia, Cara, Jamie, like all those girls, it's just going to raise my level even further and help me be my best.
Top 10 of the CrossFit Games. That's my goal. I know I can do it, and I know that getting in the top 10 is extremely difficult and a huge accomplishment in the sport, and I know that'll only be the beginning.
He's so focused and he has one goal. I could tell you every second of the day revolves around winning the CrossFit Games, and I think he could absolutely win it. One day he's going to stand on that podium again.
My goal is to qualify for the 2022 CrossFit Games. I want to dominate at my semifinal, and when I get to the CrossFit Games, I want to be able to compete through the whole games. Whether the cut is top 10, top 20, whatever they do, I'm there for a full competition, and I'm going to get this experience under my belt so I can take that experience, grow from it, and keep getting better.
I need him to believe that he can make the CrossFit Games this year as much as I believe that he can make the CrossFit Games this year. And I think we're on the right path with him.
Games. I can't set my goals too high and say I want to win the games my first year when I haven't even made it, but that's got to be the goal.
He reminds me of either a pit bull or a shark because he just wants to get out on that floor, and I feel like he wants to just rip everyone's face off. And when he's ready to go, he shines. And he doesn't want to be your friend on the competition floor. He is your enemy, and I think guys should be scared of Phil coming in.
I'm not going to back down to anybody. I don't care if you've been in the games 10 years in a row, if it's your first time. Everybody's a threat, so that's, I got to take what's mine.
And I know that, among every sport out there, I feel like CrossFit is just every single thing is earned, it's not given. It doesn't matter if you win the Open. I can now show up at quarterfinals and not make it to semifinals, right? Each competition, it starts fresh. So you can't ever walk in happy-go-lucky with no chip on your shoulder.
I get very giddy for wheelhouse events, which the pistols, GHT, and ring muscle-ups are always one that I have fun with.
My goal is to make it to the CrossFit Games, and I want to place top 10 at the CrossFit Games. And no doubt in my mind, I have the capacity to do it. I'm just going to pour everything I can to the rest of the season to do that.
Let's go. Show these boys what the fuck is up. Let's go. I want Fee to make it back to CrossFit Games. I am 100% positive she has what it takes to do it. I think she's going to make it back to the CrossFit Games. She believes she's going to make it back to the CrossFit Games. And we're on that right path right now. The goal is in sight.
Let's go, Pete! Let's go! Yes! Let's fucking go.
I found out that I unofficially won the GHD pistol ring muscle up event, and that's so exciting.
So far, the Brute crew is on the right track. With the exception of Emma Cary and her injury, the remaining athletes under Matt Torres have all qualified and moved on to semifinals.
I'm enjoying the sport more than I ever have, and I'm loving what I'm doing every day, more and more. And just the fulfillment I get out of competing just makes me feel so much fire and passion.
Brute on 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh!
Up in Canada, Deka crew is on the same path. They are moving on to the semifinals as well, except for one change. Ellie Turner decided to move to the United States to train with Adam Knifer, who coaches Justin Medeiros.
For me, the biggest priority is I've got such a strong foundation. I can continue to make small steps everywhere and just stay healthy, and I should have a good crack at it. That and improve my swimming.
Pat has got the intelligence to win. Pat has got the fitness to win. If he can compete the way he competed last year, he's going to win the CrossFit Games.
On the next, miles to Madison.
My initial reaction when I found out Annie put a team together was excitement. I was excited because I want to beat them.
It was the jolt of motivation that I needed to get into the season.
I'm not going to say we have a huge weakness, but we have holes that we need to fill up.
I just think we stayed too comfortable the whole time.
He's been at the top for so long, and he's what we strive for.
Now you have a villain. Now, sorry, but we want to embarrass you.